Initially, there was sort of the top two in Man United and Arsenal. Then it became the top three with Chelsea and Liverpool. Top four, sorry, with Chelsea and Liverpool getting involved in that. Then Spurs got involved and then Man City made money and it became a big six. At what point do Leicester City get swapped in for Arsenal?
Never. Hold on a second. I think I just had a delivery.
No. Well, right, I'll do the intro whilst you're going. It's a podcast. It's a football podcast, and on those podcasts, we begin, of course, with Flav getting a delivery. He got a delivery yesterday on the Mailbag, and he's got one right now. But what will he discover in today's delivery? Where's he going now? For fuck's... Hi everyone, welcome back to the James and Flav for Now podcast. Hope you guys are all well. I hope he comes back soon. We've got all our new moisties frothing with moistness. It just walks off, doesn't it? It just walks off. We're literally recording right now. I'll have to cut this bit out because this is... Can we start early, James? James, is it alright if we start a little bit earlier? Because Spurs are playing at 5. Yeah, mate, of course, I understand, mate. You've got things to do. I'll work around that. To be honest, I could actually do it on Thursday. No. It's fine. We'll do it at 3:30. Is that all right? Yeah, all right, 3:30 sounds great. But I do need to be gone by 5. No, I understand, mate. I won't mess you about. All right?
Sorry.
What'd you get?
I didn't. It was someone delivering plasterboard, but you got the wrong place.
Right.
I
Fantastic.
can't. If people knock on the door, I can't not answer.
Good point.
I cannot do that.
Yeah. That's your job, isn't it?
It's my job.
Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to all our new moisties. If you want to become a moistie, join us on Patreon. We have a new tier, which I can show you right now, actually. There it is. And what we're trying to do is create parity. So we have a new offer, half price, only 136 left. But that sounds bad. But we were 162 last week. So we've got so many new moisties. It's unbelievable.
We make no money out of this, by the way. Do we? No, we make half the money. We still make money out of this. So you crack on.
Well, the point is that if we can get 136 more, then that will mean half price for the official Jaffa lovers. Okay? So get involved if you want to get involved. We had the most ridiculous mailbag I think we've had ever yesterday, which we will not speak about. So I've got... If
you want to know what that's about, become a patron. You can get in the inner. This podcast is made up of in jokes. So if you want to get inside the in jokes, then you become a patron.
Yeah, I did. I had to sort of push back a little bit. I went on Twitch straight after, and Rob Turner, who is actually is important because he's in charge of our Jaff and Clips channel, which is available now. Loads of juicy clips on there to go and enjoy. But he's just someone else has just done. Adam Lewis has just done it, just in capital letters on my Twitch stream after saying Brazzers. I don't need that. I don't need that. Okay? I don't want this following me around.
This is the thing. Well, to stop saying stuff then, because this is what they want. This is what the people want.
Maybe I do. Maybe I do.
Well, I still don't know what that is. I don't know what it is.
Right, let's get into the podcast. We've got to get through. We've got a bit of an update on Birds and That, which I just feel like it needs to... I feel like Birds and That... It's not even Birds and That, isn't it? It's BDA. Sorry, I've got it written down as Birds and That. BDA, it's literally just... It's just Sonny time, isn't it? It's Sonny's love life. I don't really want to hear from anyone else's love life. I just want to know... I just want to follow the long story of Sonny until he finds a wife or husband, whatever he wants. Anyway, We'll be talking about all of that. Some really good derby games. Garth Crooks is the kind of guy. We've got a whole list of them. That was ridiculous. Some comments of the week. And and we'll just tuck into all of that. Let's kick off with the new bit that we started this last week, which is called the Jim Big Laugh Award. 2 nominees this week, Flav, for you to decide.
Good.
First one, Matt Lesnar. And there'll be more of these. Garth Crooks is the type of guy later in the show. But Garth Crooks is the type of guy to to fart and then laugh, which prompts another fart, and then he gets stuck in a cycle. It's stuck in a circle of life.
That's so far out of the boundaries of what we wanted for this. It's just
I can't even read it. That one, honestly, that was a full-on bark laugh. I literally just burst out laughing. I can't even. I'm not even doing it justice. I just want to show you.
Good work, mate.
Get stuck in a cycle of laugh farting. I didn't even know that was a thing.
No, it isn't a thing. It's not.
Oh, dear.
Only in Garth Crooks. Well,
that's got to be a record for me crying on the pod. And it goes up against Archie Ansell. Don't know what's happening, Jim, but I've started actively doing fingers in mouths when people in my online class get a question wrong and then get it right. I'll tell you what, Goodison Park last week. I mean, imagine if the fans had been there. We called it, Flav. We called it once again. Pulling the string. I called it. That Everton would finally have their moment in history.
Can I stop you? When you say I called it, you can't take like we're in this together or we're not, Jim.
Right.
We called it. Yeah. We called it. Everything good that happens in my life, you get credit for.
Right.
You don't even know that. Okay. My missus knows that. I've been upstairs giving her multiples, and I say James is a part of that. Just so you know.
Yeah. She's like, thank you so much, Flav. No. Remember, we've spoken about this.
Thank Jim as well.
Oh dear, this.
I did notice that she hugged you like more tightly than she
gave me a knowing. She gave me a knowing nod after the hug as well. Didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you went like a little. You went. It's we, right? That's what I said first. I said we.
No, you caveated it with I said.
No, you said we, and I went. Well, I said it. So, which is the complete opposite, exactly what you just said.
No, you reinforce my doubt. You reinforce it by saying, "Yeah, and I went, oh, maybe I did."
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, look, the important thing is we are getting things right, both in your bedroom and on the podcast.
Hell yeah.
I think Matt Lesnar has to win the Jim Big Laugh Award. It might have to be a tier award because the tier list because you've got me into tiers. I don't know. Who cares?
No.
Quotes of the pod. Oliver Sage. Quote of the pod. Give the signal, Flav. Give the signal. Flav says, what? We've done the football chat, haven't we? James, we're sort of doing it now. I don't feel we have done the football chat, have we? Flav sighs. Oh, I thought we had. Go on then. Football podcast. Alexander Brunt. Quote the pod. Here's one for you, Flav. 4 years old. Gangrene. Had to have it amputated. She was in tears. Sorry, that was when we were talking about. So these are quotes from last week's pod.
No, you don't get to give. You don't get to give context because whenever I make a fool of myself or say something mental, you never give context. So the fact that that's yours, no context.
Okay, fine. John Simonson. Quote of the pod. My name's Harry Maguire, and can I have a banana sandwich, please?
Yeah.
Drov Pancania, quote of the pod. You can often feel their knob on your elbow.
These are all quotes, genuine quotes from the last week. If you're new to this podcast, I'm sorry.
Also, if you are new to this podcast, go check out Jaff and Clips because I'm sure most of these quotes are actually clips now on the channel. So well done.
Yeah.
Ed Nicole, quote of the pod. When is a husband anything other than something you get porked by? I can't even remember when that was. I presume.
Yeah, sorry.
Tom Bradley, quote of the pod. I saw your post. It gave me a semi. Can we go for a drink? That's the Sonny situation, which we'll be talking about at the end of this podcast. And Matthew Dodgson, 3,000 fans in Goodison with a semi. That was last week's quote of the pod as well. 3 cheers for Everton. Well done, Everton.
I know. I watched the game. You'd be surprised to hear. And they do bloody well. But I also think that when a team defends well and scores goals on the break, that they get too much credit.
Really?
because they. Because
was it a penalty?
we did-
Do you think it was a penalty?
No,
No, I didn't either.
no,
I was
no, it
actually
wasn't
quite
a penalty,
annoyed
but-
by it.
And I wasn't annoyed. I was happy. That's the best kind of thing. Like if you want, like if the best kind of win against Arsenal or West Ham and Chelsea was the ones where we didn't deserve it, like we cheated.
Sure.
Those were the best wins because what you need, that you feed off the fury of the fans that you hate, and that's football, Jim.
Couldn't agree more. We but I'm not a Liverpool fan or an Everton fan, so I was more like, I was just sort of the broad. There's a lot of things in football. They're just the fact that they're becoming normalised now is worrying to me.
Do you reckon, Jim? Do you
Like
reckon
VAR?
that in Liverpool after that game? Because I'm sure they're not. I'm not sure about this, but I'd imagine there'd be some groups of fans from both Liverpool and Everton that weren't observing social distancing, and they were just going calm down. Liverpool fans were going calm down, and it was just this never-ending loop of calm down. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Well, that's a big thing, Liverpool, isn't it? You have households that have both reds and blues.
I'll never understand that. I'll never understand it because they generally hate.
Kick them out, innit? Get them out of the household. So, well, make your choice. Make your choice. Well, I've
live on the streets.
Well, then
live on the streets.
Well, then you'll live on the streets then.
Yeah, and then all right. Well, yeah, all right. I will, and that's the mark of a good football fan.
7-year-old child. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I always hated you. Hated you. The minute you were born, your birth was a fucking nightmare. I had to stay in the hospital for 48 hours.
I knew you were a blue. I knew you were a blue as soon as you popped out.
There's all kinds of things I would say now to up the ante, but I'm not going to.
He's going to behave himself. Okay. Yeah, the thing that it's the fact that we're getting all desensitized by this. Like the Giroud thing yesterday.
What Giroud thing?
Giroud scored a bicycle kick, which was
wonderful goal.
Yeah, it was a wonderful goal, and I know I'm in the wrong here when I'm getting annoyed about VAR with this in particular, because it was the right decision. It came off the Atletico Madrid defender, and so he wasn't offside, and that's all great. But that kind of goal 3 years ago. What the point is? The thing is,
I was just walloped at what I can only imagine was like a strawberry, like 1 penny strawberry sweet.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so what?
What are you eat? What have you just put in your mouth?
Satsuma. The thing I'm struggling with is the fact that that's a great goal, and there's now become this thing where you wait for VAR, you wait 5 minutes, it gets given, and now there's this like awkward fake celebrating that's going on now. Like I saw it at the West Ham game against you guys was one.
We spoke about it. We spoke about this like a year ago, Jim.
But everyone's like, yeah, but they got the right decision. I was like, yeah, but like we're never going to celebrate. We're never going to celebrate a goal again.
Well, I'll just reiterate exactly what I said when we had this conversation. When I was in your front room,
right,
numerous times. Is the worst thing about VAR is it removes the explosion of emotion that you get when your team scores. Doesn't matter. Like, all right, we got the guys, so good. We got the decision correct because deep down, the best team should win, or the team with the most money or the best players should win, because that's what VAR does, right? Right? It gives the team who are most equipped to attack will benefit most from VAR. So yeah, let's have every result right. And let's not let the little teams like QPR celebrate.
Yeah.
And the thing is that QPR is so little that it doesn't even impact them. So
on the charge, aren't we? On the charge.
You won again, didn't you?
Can we talk about the Rangers again? Could do, couldn't we?
Yeah,
Let's 6 out of 7. Is that good? Hang on a minute. Yes, it is good. Is that playoff form? Yes, it is. Come on, you R's. It's something happening here, mate.
You're on the brink. You're on the brink here. If you carry this on, genuinely, and you've seen teams do it before, James. You've seen teams do it before. They make a late charge. Make a late charge.
Correct.
If that's what's happening at QPR right now, mate, imagine it. Imagine it.
You know, we always play this game. How many defeats for a manager to get the sack.
Yep.
For me, it's like how many victories for all
we start losing
for
again.
all got to believe. For all got to believe. And I'll tell you what, we're recording this before the big game. I know everyone's talking about it. It's all over Twitter. QPR Preston tonight. And if we,
you're playing tonight?
If we beat Preston,
you're at home. You're home.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Come on, mate.
Well, I'm not going. All right, that's how I kind of keep on top of these things. But it doesn't matter. Important thing is if we win, something's happening. I'm believing. I'm starting to believe if we win today.
You're away from home. I'll let you know as someone who doesn't support QPR. You are away from home. If you beat QPR away, and then you've got Birmingham, who are fucking shambles and never-ending shambles.
They are poor at the moment. Yeah, won their last game.
That's another 6 points.
It's on. It's on.
Seriously, if you win the next 2 games, it is on. It genuinely is on. Like, not what does on mean?
Well, I mean, I think on's beating people in the top 6 right now. Like, I don't know, Bournemouth, Watford, Brentford.
Mate, you're doing it. Can you turn up when you have to play Luton Town, Derby County, or Huddersfield?
I've beaten Luton recently as well, Flav. So any
all
more?
Right, Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday,
Rotherham still to play soon. Sheffield. We've got decent games coming up as well. We've got bloody good games coming up. It's
4 on the bounce in the league. 4 on the bounce in the league. Would you have thunk it?
Come on.
I feel like we do this every year, though, Jim. I've known you for what must be 7 or 8 years, and we have this discussion every single year.
That's true. And we're quite patchy. QPR quite patchy under our boy Warbs. But the bread man. Starting to rise.
Brentford lost 3 on the bounce as well. They're all over
bottling it, aren't they? There is a clip on the Jeff and Clips channel said they get no excuses if they bottle it. I don't want to hear it. And 3 defeats on the spin against
this is what we do.
Lowly opposition. It's not.
This is what
not really good enough, is it?
This is what we do, Jim.
It would seem so, wouldn't it? It would seem so. I mean, come on now, Brentford. Look, they were top 3 games ago. 10 points off now. Good luck.
And they're on a downward spiral as well.
They've got Sheffield Wednesday. Can't be losing that, can you? Wouldn't lose to Sheffield Wednesday. No chance. Surely not.
Second bottom, Sheffield Wednesday. Minus 11 goal difference.
Won't be losing to them. Don't worry about that. 14th. 3 points. That's 42. Then we're starting to believe. We are starting to believe. Come on. You never know.
It must be tough for a Sheffield United fan, a Sheffield Wednesday fan, where there's this one season where Sheffield United are absolutely garbage, right? And they're going down. Like, even we couldn't save them.
Yeah, we tried. They're going that bad.
Yeah. It's not our fault. It's their fault. Yeah. We gave them every chance and they just wouldn't take it. They wouldn't take it. And Sheffield Wednesday at the same time find themselves second bottom in the championship. It's like, can I get a break?
They should stay up. I think they'll still stay up. Just. I think something all clicking together. Gear.
What happened to Carnival, whatever his name is?
Carnival. He's gone. He's managing Upper Majamo and Kojak at some other club.
Mate, honestly, like all these people that know all of these names in football, fucking get a life.
Football podcast. Football podcast. Comments of the week. Right, this one is. I read it and I thought, what? BD. Next time Martin Tyler is commentating a match, watch it without crowd noise. After doing... This isn't prompted by anything, by the way. Next time Martin Tyler is commentating a match, watch it without crowd noise. After doing it the other day, I now can't shake the thought that he sounds like he's getting a sneaky blowy under the table and is just trying not to give it away. Why is that entering your mind, BD?
It's because he talks like this. He's like, Tottenham on attack. Lucas Moura, he's fallen over again. That's what it is.
The time I listened to it after you'd messaged, it sounds like I can hear them breathing. That was so funny that tweet. But I could hear Carragher going. You used to do this at Bull Street. You used to, everyone's got their headphones in Bull Street, and Flav would do what Jamie Carragher does when he's doing his commentary. Be typing away, and then you just hear and then I'll be looking at you laughing or something, and you'd be like that. We've done it again. Oh dear. Anyway, It's like me when I'm about to drift off. I did it last night when I'm about to drift off. Huh?
They don't know. They haven't listened to the sleep.
Okay.
Listen to. I've got a podcast called 15 Minutes. We did one of my good mates, Windy. We did a podcast on sleep, and we had James, and he made that comment that just as he's falling asleep, he just goes, "Huh."
Yeah, I do. I did it last night. I tell you what though, it's so. Oh, it feels so good. Speaking of sleep, HM McCarthy, who is an Allcott ultra. Oh, actually, can I plug something? I'm in the Streamer Showdown, which is a Football Manager tournament this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We're going to shut some mouths. It's going to kick off. So come and join me if you've got nothing happening Saturday night and Sunday night.
Jesus, that's just Saturday and Sunday night.
It's going to be good fun. It'll be good fun. We'll try and.
What is it though? Jim, you haven't properly built it up because
it's like a tour. So on Thursday there's a draft. Thursday night.
A draft means what? A draft of players. You pick your players.
Right. Let me say.
Well,
so you get a certain amount of money. In this, we got to buy a Premier League squad, and you've got one wild card, so one player from another team. We pick our so in the draft, it basically goes round, and so someone might have taken your player, and then you've got to go and you've got to pick your players and get it right. And then with that squad, we will play a league on the Saturday night, sponsored by KFC, and then on the Sunday, it's the knockouts. And it's a buzz. It's a proper buzz. So come and join us.
Do you know something we've just seen? So people that don't know, they're not patrons, they're not sluggies, proper sluggies, like moist sluggies. We watch we record this as live. So anyone who wants to watch us live, we can see the comments in the top chat. Someone inside the loyal moisty patrons
oh my god,
has downliked the stream, which it can only be one of 22 people.
Oh,
so
is there a way of finding that out? There's not, is there?
Well, I think
it's anonymous.
I think it's Rob Turner.
Who did it? I'd love to know that. Smoke him out, guys, or her.
No, there's 3 dislikes.
There's 3 dislikes. That's a shame. That is a shame. Smash that dislike button. Right, HM McCarthy. Just a tip from someone familiar with sleep paralysis. Last week we were talking. It was Hassan Majid, who's now a moisty. Was a dry slug. He's now turned into a moisty. He's in the chat right now. Just a tip from someone familiar with sleep paralysis. Try to move something small like a pinky finger or toe instead of an entire arm, and this should end the episode a lot quicker. I just thought that was important to say.
Football podcast.
Yeah, football podcast. Craig Wilson, at about 43 minutes 40, James rolls out supposedly. I say supposedly. He means supposedly. I'm surprised Flav let it slide. I'm calling him out because I'm a dick, I guess. But I will still support James in all his endeavours. He is true class and quality and always has been. And I just checked, and James is about to eclipse Ball Street in total subs. Let's all give him a hand and make sure we're subscribed ourselves. I was like, this is sort of the initial bit. I found it hilarious that you're surprised Flav let it slide. What, the bastion of grammar when he was calling Kabak Kojak last week?
No, I feel like I'm the bastion of grammar.
You're better with grammar, that's true.
Yeah, but you asked me to name a bloke you're asking me to remember the name of some bloke who joined Liverpool from the very bottom of the Bundesliga.
That's exciting.
What? Man. So play better, and I remember your name. There you go.
Fair point. John Smith, it's never. Oh yeah, I just thought this was a good comment as well. John Smith commented last week. Never going to happen, lol. Everton will never beat us at home. Jog on.
Wow, that was such a good result. I imagine being an Everton fan. I've been there. I've been there, and I've witnessed Tottenham beating Arsenal 3-2 at the Emirates after God knows how long it had been. It must have been about 20 years of us not getting an away result, and we did it. And when Kabul scored that headed goal on about 88 minutes, they were 2 up, Arsenal, and we turned it around and won 3-2. A headed goal in 88 minutes. I celebrated so hard that I genuinely passed out. I had to drop down to the sofa because I thought I was going to go.
Yeah.
That's what Everton fans were feeling.
Amazing. Oldham playoffs. I spent my first year as a fan, we finished 5th in the Premier League, and then we gently just went, well, not even gently, just went down, plummeted through the leagues, and I had no enjoyment at all. We were just failures. And then we beat Oldham. We got into the playoffs, and we beat Oldham in the semi-final at Loftus Road, and we scored at 86th minute to get in the lead. And I screamed so loud for so long, I gave myself the most horrible headache ever. I was just like, oh, so I couldn't handle it.
When we used to do the 1882 movement at Tottenham, people would come to the game with paracetamol for me because it'd be singing so much that I'd always get a headache. And what I found that was when I was at football, if you squeezed your temples, the headache would go away. What.
Oh right, but what about once you released it? Would it then come back?
No, it'd be gone. But the next time you sing, which would, if you were part of the 1882 movement, it would be like fucking 5 seconds later because we're always singing all game. But yeah, you squeeze your head. If you're at football and you've got a singing headache, you squeeze your head hard and then release, and it's gone. But just don't sing again.
Okay, good to know. Apparently, the person who disliked the live stream on Patreon has been smoked out. Of course, he was a rug. It's Ross Chambers. He admitted that he started a revolution and that he's a dry slug at heart. Shame. What a shame. Less of that.
It's fine. Right. He's paying. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, he do what he wants, mate. Dislike it. Honestly, everyone dislike it right now.
Well, we're currently at 13 downlikes to 5. The people are supporting us and we're genuinely happy about that. Like,
yeah.
Lovely. They're now 16 dislikes to uplikes. They're hating the stream.
They're a rebellious bunch, and I'm all right with that. Right, Flav, can you give the signal, please? No, for the football chat one.
Sorry.
Okay. Because it's time to discuss intellectually and articulate. I could say articulately. It's time to discuss one or two derby games. Of course, that's the translation to that. Let's run through the games first and foremost before we dive into them. Of course, the derby games are in partnership with Ben Spanton Walker at all times. Of course, we've got the Owain Dobson. Garth Crooks is the type of guy still to come. We've got Man City, West Ham, West Brom, Brighton, Leeds, Villa, Newcastle, Wolves, and then into Sunday. Lovely to see lots of games on 2 days, isn't it? Palace, Fulham, Leicester, Arsenal, Spurs, Burnley, Chelsea, Man United, Sheffield United, Liverpool, and Everton, Southampton on Monday. Let's have a look at some of these derby games then, shall we? There's one talking point that I think it could be a title. I believe it could be a title. Let's see. Anyway, this isn't it. Ben Spanton Walker, of course, will kick us off. Otherwise known as Ian from EastEnders. Man City versus West Ham. No one was prepared for how good they are. Derby. West Ham doing well, aren't they, mate? They're doing very well.
They're not that. So,
how do you feel about West Ham? I feel good luck to him. Good luck to him.
No, I'm not feeling good luck to him. I don't care about West Ham really. Like I appreciate how much they hate us, but I would never give them as much energy as they give us. That's all I'd say. Did you watch the game?
I watched. So I missed the first. No, I missed the first half. I watched the second half. I watched the second half.
No, you didn't. I did because
I was on the phone to Craig. Because I saw the celebration, didn't I? And I saw you guys just getting it to Kane. He turns around, tries to put a ball in for Son, and it gets cut out.
That's lazy, very very lazy. So we should have won that game. We should have won that game. Like 9 times out of 10, we would have won that game. We gave stupid defensive errors, and if you take all of the shit results we've had this season away and just looked at that 90 minutes, you'd say, well, we were unlucky. And that's what football fans don't do enough of.
Right.
It's just remove the context and just look at the evidence.
You thought you played well in that? You thought you played well in that game?
What, you didn't think we? You didn't watch the game.
I watched the second half.
No,
I didn't think you were that good.
You saw the result.
No, I
And
honestly,
you made your mind
swear
up.
on my life, watch the second half.
Well, someone who loves football as much as you do, you clearly don't know what you're looking at.
Fair enough.
Because we hit the post twice. Gareth Bale's back.
Actually, you were unlucky near the end, weren't you?
Come on, we were better. I don't care. Let's move on.
It's fine. I'm just saying, West Ham. What we do, we said this a while ago. West Ham, East End boy, shagging about, trying to find all these glamorous women, and then he's settled with a nice, plain woman like David Moyes, and they're reaping the benefits. He's a good wife. We've said this before. He's a great wife. He'll never leave you. He'll never let you down. So congratulations to West Ham. We all thought, yeah.
I actually think that we're still going to finish above them. That they're 9 points above us. They're in fourth. Like, imagine how good it's going to. No, actually, it's not going to feel good for us. Imagine how painful it's going to be for them if we overtake them now. What makes
you think that? You've won 1 out of 5.
Yeah, we're fucked. I don't know. I just think it's funny the idea of us finishing above West Ham when they're like, yeah, we're going to be Champions League. Like, for a team that actually sort of overhypes what they are, we get they aim that at us all the time. Like, oh, you're above your station. We're not above our station. You are.
The league's mad, isn't it? The league is mad this year. Arsenal are 11th. 11th. After 25 games. What this big six? This is the talking point I wanted to get to, actually. Let's do that. Because we've got... Hang on, let me run through a few before we get there. AK the producer, Spurs versus Burnley is the first ever Tottenham game that Flav won't know the score to. Derby. Honestly, I think watching paint dry is more interesting than this game will be.
That's a bit harsh.
Callum with 2 L's. My kind of guy. I like that. Make it clear. And Sheffield United versus Liverpool is the WWE derby as Chris Wilder will smash a steel chair over Jurgen Klopp's back in the technical area when Klopp moans about another injury or VAR decision derby. Matthias says Sheffield United versus Liverpool is the Jaffin has the Premier League on strings derby. Yep, the glue crack derby.
God, if Sheffield United beat Liverpool, what are they going to do to the Liverpool fans?
That is what is the low point. I always think. Do you know what I always think nowadays? I don't know whether I've just watched it for too many years. I always think, that's a Premier League years game. Like a game that's like integral to the season as a whole. And like the Jordan Pickford Van Dijk one, they'd give that a good minute and a half in Premier League years, and then they'd come back to it later on. So those are 2 big games. But is this a game that they would focus on as well or not? What's the low point for Liverpool? Is it the Everton game last week, losing for the first time in 22 years at home, or is it losing to Sheffield United?
Well, that's the thing. The thing about that game is that they've won the Champions League, they've won the league title that they've wanted for 30 years, and then the next season, after getting everything they wanted, they've lost a really kind of what used to be like a gimme record. Like Everton at Anfield was just like, if you're doing some sort of accumulator, you'd always put Liverpool to beat Everton at Anfield. And they've gone from being the very best team in the league and the best team in Europe to losing to their rivals that they would usually just spit on.
Everton fans have got to be buzzing with that. They've literally destroyed Liverpool. Everton have destroyed Liverpool in 2 games of football. Amazing.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard from
Henderson and Van Dijk as well. Mad.
If they do lose to Sheffield United are clearly the worst team. We can't help them. The worst team in the league. Then, how many more games can he lose? Like, how long does he stay for?
Are we playing the game? Should we play the game? Let us know in the chat. Let's play the game. How many have they lost in the trot now? How many games does Klopp have to lose his job? They might not 4 on the spin. They've lost 4 on the spin.
They've lost 4 on the spin in the league. I didn't even know that. No. Is that right? Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. They've lost 4 on the spin on the league. How many more has he got to lose? Knowing that there's 13 games left this season for him. If he lost all 13, You sack? Would you go? So it's all right here. Let's try.
Right, so there's genuinely like substantial talk about Jose Mourinho losing his job.
Yeah.
And granted, he hasn't done what Klopp has done for Liverpool. And, when Lampard lost his job at Chelsea, it was a similar sort of run of form. So, and if you think about what Klopp did at Dortmund when he was bottom in the league, he had fantastic successes with Dortmund, turned them into a force again. And then by Christmas, he was bottom in the league and he managed to get them back up again. But I think they fired him eventually. Is this, would Liverpool...
Is it happening again? Is it happening again? What? So some of the... we're getting some... Go on,
if he lost 7 on the bounce, no manager in the league should... Unless you're bottom of the league, 7 on the bounce is too much. If you lost the next 3, you've got to ask the question. If you're not asking the question as a Liverpool fan after 7 on the bounce, then you're a better man than I.
So patrons are saying Adam Lewis says 6. So was that 6? So 2 more. You're saying 2 more from now on.
No. Or is he saying 6 and that's 10? 10's mad. Like
6.
No one's ever lost 10 on the bounce apart from Derby County and Chris Wilder's Sheffield United.
Rob Turner says it's a Champions League exit and 10. I think that sounds about right for me. 10. You can't lose 10 on the spin.
But do you not think that he'll be able to figure it out eventually? Like Liverpool fans should just sort of say, all right, this is shit, and it may be a really poor defense at the league title, but give him refresh the squad, give him some money. Klopp doesn't. It isn't Liverpool that's making Klopp a bad manager at this stage. It's not. Klopp will, wherever he goes for the remainder of his career, will always achieve stuff. So if they just stick with him and ride out this bad performance or bad era or moment of in the doldrums, if they just ride out the doldrums, then they'll rebound without doubt. But football, and that's what's so glorious about it, is it destroys ambition and it destroys talent.
Glorious.
And
that's what's so glorious about it.
It is, because you could be one of the best managers undoubtedly in the world and football will fuck you in the arse. And that's why we love it.
And what I would say, and I think I agree, I haven't clicked on the video with Gary Neville, but I've seen the title and it's saying they have to try something different. I've got to say, I do agree with that. The pattern of play that they're playing is walking into the games that they're playing and the strategy that's coming up against them. It's just not working the same. So they need, and Jota thinks on his way back, I think he's training now, they need to try a different way of playing football if they lose another one.
They need their players back. That's what they need. Gary Neville, why didn't you try something different when you were fucking embarrassing yourself at Valencia?
No,
shut up.
No. But the thing is though, isn't that the quote? Is that it's the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. Like surely it gets to a point if they lose 5 on the spin against teams that they should be beating, Brighton, Everton. I mean Everton, Leicester, I think they're a good team, but a lot of these games, a Southampton team that is an absolute mess itself. Like, surely you have to tweak it. You have to.
I mean, what? Yeah, all right, fine. Or maybe he can just stick with what he's got, write the season off, rebound next year. Because if he does, and he wins the league, or he comes close to winning the league, everybody would be heralding the Liverpool board for giving him time.
Will Alan Smith says he could lose all 13 and he's still fine. So that would be 17 matches on the trot. Losing and he'd be fine. Maybe. I don't think that's. I mean, it's outrageous to lose 17 games and keep your job, but
That's too much. That's too much. That's too much loyalty. That's too much faith.
17.
Look, there's a line. But look, if I was a Liverpool fan right now, and I think the vast majority of Liverpool fans are sort of just Klopp in 100%. They're giving every excuse under the sun about injuries, about his poor mum passing away and not being able to be there. Like, I get it. Like those are legitimate issues, but there are also issues with inside that squad tactically as well. But just let him ride out. And Liverpool is the perfect club for him to ride out this bad storm, because their fan base won't turn on him because they're appreciative of what he's done before. And that's why Liverpool, again, this is another example of why they probably are the best fan base in the league in terms of a competitive nature, where they just they defend their own, even when their own is a proper racist, horrible cunt.
Let's come back to that.
All right, even when you're defending someone who's indefensible, they do that, and that's why as a competitive football club and a fan base, that they're always sort of hover around the very best.
Okay, Blake Newton, who last week said some sort of quite dated things in his derby option. He's doubled down. West Ham Man City is another women love us derby as the Irons take on the Man. Adam Lewis, Chelsea versus Man United. Take the last 3 letters of Chelsea and the first 3 of Man United to get the Seaman derby.
Good.
Jackson, Leicester versus Arsenal is the no, you aren't in the Big Six derby. Now here is the talking point I did want to discuss. We'll go back to that Premier League table. Arsenal's finished. I don't know if someone can find it for me. When was the last time Arsenal finished in the top 6? Was that 2 seasons ago?
Yeah, Wenger's last season, I think. Right. No, Emery maybe might have done it as well. But yeah, they've been nowhere near for at least 3 or 4 years.
Now, as the years have gone on, initially there was sort of the top 2 in Man United and Arsenal. Then it became the top 3 with Chelsea and Liverpool. Top 4, with Chelsea and Liverpool getting involved in that. Then Spurs got involved and then Man City made money and it became a Big Six. At what point do Leicester City get swapped in for Arsenal?
Never.
Is that? I just wanted to see. I just wanted to check. Does that just never happen? Because if Arsenal finished, where did they finish last season? I feel like they finished 10th or something last season.
It's not. It isn't. Jim, my point isn't that Leicester are a lesser club than Arsenal in terms of what they can do on the pitch consistently. It's about the eyes on the club. So there will always be a top 6 based on the global audience around that football club. The Premier League will always want the biggest and the most successful global audience to be the teams that have the most successful global audience to be the ones that are at the top of the league, because that's what funds it.
But what about if? But Spurs were a long way off all of that, and no one used that phrasing. It was only until you became a team that constantly finished in those places. Same goes to Man City. Yeah. Everyone jokes about Man City and their lack of fans, but they're still in the Big Six, top 6, because they're constantly up there.
They've got fans all over the world, and Leicester haven't. This is not about domestic.
No, but here's my point with this: is that Leicester City team is quite young. It's got a really good manager. It's got good backing. It's had good recruitment. Like Fofana coming in.
Absolutely.
Right, all of these things. If they finish and say they all stick together, that's a team that's won the Premier League recently as well. If they stay in the top 4 or 5, 3 years on the trot.
Yep.
Are we still and Arsenal, who I think if you're a reasonable Arsenal fan, you would take finishing in the top 8 this season, right?
Yep.
So that's going to be 2 years on the bounce where they've not done very well, and it could be another year before that goes there because the money that they've spent, their poor recruitment, blah 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 blah. Are we still going to just keep calling it this Big Six, or is it going to change? Because surely at some point, if Leicester keep this moving forward, they get to go in that world, do they not?
Yeah, of course they do. If they can sustain it in the same way that Tottenham did, like 10 years ago, you're right. Spurs weren't a part of that conversation when it was top 4. We weren't. So you're right. Yeah, you do need to be sustainably successful. The problem they've got is if Brendan Rodgers leaves, if Ndidi leaves, if Maddison leaves, if Barnes leaves, if Chilwell leaves. Chilwell didn't leave a club that was above him, but above where they were. He left a club that was on the descendancy under Lampard. But because of And that may be correct, but what Chelsea are performing very well without playing him as it stands. But if Leicester stay in the top four long enough for them to grow their audience and financial stability outside of what everybody gets in the Premier League, then they can become a part of the top six. But Arsenal will always be there if their global fan base is bigger than Leicester's. It's not about credibility. It's not about that. It isn't about how good your team is. It's not about how long you've been good. It's about how many people are watching your team play every week and how much NBC or the Chinese sports stations are willing to pay. And that's what makes you a Big Six club. I don't like it, Jim.
I don't think that's true, though. I don't think that's true, mate. Because I think success on the pitch leads to the opposite.
Undeniable. It's undeniable.
No, but the reason those teams are so these are the established teams, and that's why they're watched and have got so many fans around the world. But I think Man City breaks a lot of the rules that you're talking about there, because they've only got it because they've had success over the last 10 years. So, and Leicester City, they're massive in Thailand. They're quite big abroad as well. So they're going to generally get there.
You tell me why they're not then.
No, I'm saying that I would suggest that I think within 2 years, if Leicester City carry on the trajectory that they're on and Arsenal continue on the trajectory they're on, I think we start talking about Arsenal. We talk about Arsenal like the way we talk about Leeds.
Yeah, okay. So if they can do it, if they lose Brendan Rodgers and they lose the players that they've got currently, and what they've got now is a fucking wonderful mixture of talent, of attitude, and a really, really good manager. If they lose all those again after they've recovered from the league title win and going down the mountain after that, if they do that again and can sustain their position in the top six, then genuinely they probably will get the fan base outside of the Premier League and could be considered the top six. But there isn't, there has been a big four or a big six for the last 30, 40 years of football in England before the Premier League. And it's never changed. It's always been Manchester United, Everton, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea. The only change has been Manchester City because they've had so much money invested in them. But if you look at the global fan base of Manchester United, Manchester City rather, then you wouldn't put them in that picture. But it's just because their balancing factor is the fact that they've just been pumped full of cash.
Yeah, they've been successful and they've got the best players. I think that's what I mean. I think that how good you are on the pitch breeds everything else. I think Spurs
We'll see.
I get what you're saying about, because again, I think you can pick the bones on that on Spurs, because you go, yes, okay, huge club, yes, massive fan base, but you were mediocre for 15 odd years.
We weren't a part of that conversation, and we became a part of that conversation for sure, based on.
So it's up for grabs. I think it's up for grabs. I think the Big Six is dead now.
Yeah, but it's not up for grabs if it's just about how well you perform on the pitch. It's not. It's up for grabs if you have a company around you that can perpetuate your brand further than just domestic viewership. And that's the sad thing about it. It's not about how good you are anymore. It's just about how good your marketing director is. That's the fact. Like the Spurs rebranded their badge. I don't know if you knew this. In 2006, we had our which was more in keeping with the traditional badge. It had the tree, the Seven Sisters, the seven trees, the Seven Sisters that had the Bruce Castle monolith inside our badge. They took it all out and just made this very clean cockerel. Now the previous badge was all about where Tottenham were from. Like the Seven Sisters is a road that runs from where Arsenal play all the way up to Tottenham, and the Bruce Castle. Bruce Castle was a local building that was representative of the area. And what we did is take all of that away because it means nothing to anyone outside of who supports Spurs on a local basis. And that was good for us in business sense because it made us more marketable for the rest of the people out there. So as soon as Leicester can do that, then they could potentially become part of the top 6. If they can't find money elsewhere over and above the many millions they get paid for playing in the Premier League each year, or the Champions League if they continue to do it, then they won't be a part of it. And that's all I'm saying. They're good enough to be, sure.
Well, it's interesting. I just think it's interesting because you've got, think of that 6. And then I think Everton with the money that they're pumping into the team, Leicester, the same kind of thing. I think Leeds have got a lot of potential there. I could see them being a lot of new football fans teams. I don't know. I think that element of it is exciting. And,
it's interesting. It's really interesting. I'd much rather. I remember a time where I thought that I'd never see a top 4 that didn't consist of Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal. I remember talking about on our podcast 10 years ago, the Fighting Cock podcast, saying we will never have. It probably was before that actually. We will never have a top 4 that doesn't consist of these 4 teams. So I was wrong then, thankfully. Yeah, and hopefully I'm wrong again.
Because that's it. When I look at that Premier League table, I'm like, this is great. Leicester City were in, they were in Division 2 a few seasons ago. Man City, obviously, that's a different there's different bits to that. But West Ham in the season they're having, Aston Villa coming back from where they were last season. Arsenal down here in 11th, Spurs down here in 9th. It's decent.
It's good. It's much better, much more healthy.
Right, someone just said in the chat, this is a lot of football chat. Right, let's calm that down now. That needs to end. Right. Hang on, okay, we're getting into Garth Crooks territory.
That's fine. Do the Garth Crooks thing. Do it.
Okay. I've got. Let me finish off these derby games. West Brom versus Brighton is this is from Jack H. You forgot we had Albion in our name, didn't you? Derby. That's West Bromwich Albion taking Brighton. Hove Albion. Get a man a chair. Newcastle versus Wolves is when our main striker got injured. It really fucked up our season. Derby. Zach says Leicester versus Arsenal. We meant the big 6, not the top 6 derby. Chelsea versus Man United, backup keeper who can't catch, cost you 70 million, did he? Well, we brought a fridge for 80 million. Stanley, Man City versus West Ham, you can't touch this derby as MC take on the Hammers. And
very good.
Palace versus Fulham, Battle of the Ages, oldest versus youngest managers. Right, Garth Crooks. Garth Crooks is the type of guy. We've had some great fun over the last couple of weeks. We've had the likes of Gary Neville and Roy Keane. That's it. That is your job. And we now move on to Garth Crooks. Flav, do you know what I'm going to ask you?
Go on.
Who do you want next week?
Oh, shit. No, I haven't thought about this.
Let us know in the chat. The patron, the sluggies.
You choose, yeah.
Right, Garth Crooks. And thank you for liking the ones that you like, because it makes it a lot easier for me.
Brazzers is the type of website that... No? All right,
can do. Does people want to do that? I'd rather not go down that road if it's all right. I'd love the footballer. Give us a footballer.
This is your job.
That's my job, is to read out the... You're not the funny one. He's the funny one who says the outrageous things. Just read the comments. That's your job. Wayne Rooney. Okay, Wayne Rooney. It is.
All right, fair enough.
Read the right, Robbie Holmes. A lot of these got a lot of likes. Garth Crooks is the type of guy to ask his wife to look away while he gets undressed for bed. MAGA. Garth Crooks is the kind of guy to bring his own bowling ball to the alley, but still uses the metal ramp.
Very good.
What, are you good at bowling?
I'm terrible. It's the kind of thing that...
I'm the kind of guy who I try and do it, and I overdo the leg.
Yeah. It comes up. I've had that thrown at me as well. But bowling's a kind of it's manly, innit? It's like men want to perform at that stage, but it's like the first time you see a fanny, you don't know what you're doing, but you're trying to pretend like you do. That's what bowling is.
Yeah. And you try and play it cool when you get a strike. There you go.
Yeah. When you find the clitoris, you're like, I always knew where it was. I always knew. I told you the 15 times before that I was unsure, but I always knew.
Yeah, when she looks at you, when she's looking away, and you're like that. Your eyes like, and then she looks at you, and you go,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Garth Crooks is the Jack Cowap. Garth Crooks is the type of guy who covers his answers with a menu at the pub quiz, but still gets the answer wrong. Chris Cullen, Garth Crooks is the type of... Oh, hang on. Oh, someone's done that twice. It doesn't matter. Chris, I'm not going to read yours because the other one I thought was better. Luke Bromwich, Garth Crooks is the type of guy to lick his finger before he goes to the next page on his Kindle. Mark Matthews, Garth Crooks is the type of guy to still drop his trousers and pants around his ankles and taking a piss.
Good stuff. I remember there was a kid in my secondary school called Dwayne who would he'd go for a wee at the urinals and pull his pants and his trousers all the way down.
What did he have to, or he just like doing it?
What do you mean? What did he have to? What do you mean? There was a whole band of people going, "Pull them down, pull them down. We want to see your ass." No, of course not.
Some people have weird things, don't they? Oh, and finally, I just felt this was just a full stop on Garth. Zach Mountain. Just checking in. First time commenter, but I've been here since one for the weekend. My mum's friend works behind the scenes on Match of the Day, and when I was 12, she gave me a tour of the studios. I met many of the pundits, Gary Lineker, Mark Lawrenson, and Jermaine Genius, to name a few, as well as the one and only Garth Crooks. My overriding memory from that day remains how Garth Crooks was an extremely nice guy, so I feel a twinge of sadness whenever I see people slaughtering for his, brackets, admittedly questionable, teams of the week. Please go easy on Garth, guys. He's a lovely bloke. Thanks, slugs.
His teams of the weeks are wind-ups. He's trolling. So if you ever are reactionary to those, then you're a victim of his trolling, in my opinion. I just want to go back to that. 2015, he was 12. So 2015, that's 6 years. Were we doing podcasting 6 years ago?
No,
we'd met each other 6 years ago. Yeah. So when me and you met each other, he was 12 years old. Yeah. Jesus, is he coming along to the live show on the 17th of August?
If he's got his ID.
Yeah.
Petty Axe. Of course. And this is great. This is great mind play from the one, the only Steve the Lash. He is. Oh, are we going on the Lash? I am the Lash. He loves the Lash.
He's never given an orgasm with his fingers. He's only given the orgasm going internally with his massive penis.
He gets him close and then goes, no.
Not tonight, love. I've given you all I can. Actually, I can give you more, but that's enough for you.
Yeah. And instead of saying cashback, he goes, the lash back at the end.
Yeah, when he buying some cigarettes at the in Sainsbury's, it's like cashback. What? Sorry, you mean the lashback?
Yeah. And when he buys them, he goes, "Do you take the lash? The lash?"
And the woman behind the counter just has a multiple and just falls on the floor.
it's Stephen rhyming slang. The lash cash, and gives her a 50 because that's Steve. Anyway, petty axe. My roommate above my bedroom seems to always begin blaring music on a speaker right as I'm trying to go to bed. I'm a reservist, so sometimes I have to wake up at like 4:30 a.m. to go in, and I make sure to stomp my boots as loud as I possibly can up the stairs before I leave. P.S. My friends and I are really enjoying this Steve the Lash joke, considering I'm notorious among my friends for being the one who they have to drag out of the house for a night out. Yeah, because you're sick of dominating these guys. You like to go out alone. He goes out alone, doesn't he?
Do you know how difficult it is for him to just walk down the street, let alone leave the house? He's dragging a cock so big that just leaving the house is agony for him. So just tell your mates to back off.
Yeah.
All right? And the fact is, he's not a reservist. He's a reservist, not for the army. He's a reservist for the women out there who need some loving. Steve the Lash.
Yeah. Excited to read his book. I think he's working on it at the moment. Memoirs of the Lash.
No, Steve the Lash loves the smash.
Yeah, life on the Lash.
You can't keep me on the Lash.
What have you won, or what's now become what have you made? Getting a bit of traction on this bit, but I generally expect it to die a death. Cast 1994. Quick, what have you made? I made a fully functional tandoori oven using 3 clay.
Mate, fair fucking play. Honestly, I love a tandoori oven. Honestly, mate, you actually done that. That's fantastic. Fair play.
Using 3 clay flour pots. And
yes!
Successfully cooked hundreds of skewers in it. Brackets, I had no idea if it was food safe. Could have been layered in chemicals. For all I know, that didn't stop me from using it. He would not be stopped. He wanted a tandoori oven, and now he's got one. Great work.
Fuck those people who are hated.
That's it. Let us know what you've made. We'll celebrate it with you. No high quality rumours this week, but we have got some Barber chat. Adam Lewis, bit of Barber chat for you lads. When they come round the front to sort the yeah, this is brilliant. Bit of Barber chat for you lads. When they come round the front to sort the front of your hair, brackets obviously, where do you look? Do you look? Adam, I always look out for Adam's comments. He's really funny. Do you look up? But then that looks like you're looking at their trim and making them feel self-conscious. Do you just look straight forward into their chest area? Brackets, not a good choice for women barbers. Downwards towards their crotch. Or close your eyes and look like you're weirdly enjoying the experience of someone cutting your hair. Personally, I'm a closed eye kind of guy. I like to think it looks as though I'm closing my eyes to stop small hairs falling into them. Football podcast, savage.
So he's just sitting there going,
What would you? I look to the left. So if they're on this side of you cutting, you just look over to the left.
Yeah, you take their eyes, wherever their eyes are around you, you look
the opposite.
Yeah, 180 degrees in the opposite way.
Yeah.
So you just like that. If they're looking at you like that way, you just like that. if they're looking at you straight on, you roll your eyes back like you're, like a great white shark does.
Right. Do you ever look?
That's what he is.
Do you ever look them in the eye?
I just look at their cock all the time. Just like that.
Just following the cock. Fair enough.
Follow the cock. You can't go wrong with that. Okay. What else? What else, Jim?
Mind-aching facts. Charlie A. Fact. Elephants are the only animals with 4 knees.
They do that.
Elephants. I've met an elephant in Thailand once. It was
chained up. Was it? No,
it wasn't. No, they look after him. They do look after him. But I struggle. As we know on this podcast, I've spoken to it before. Elephants blow my mind. They've got nose hands. They can pick stuff up with your nose. Well, that's not special, James. Pick this up. You can't, can you? Because you haven't got a nose hand.
I wouldn't want one, though.
No, I'm not saying that.
Actual hands.
I'm just saying it's mental.
Well, they've got feet. They've got to try and adapt, haven't they?
They've got bad feet, haven't they? They've got poor feet. Their feet are rubbish.
Very flat.
Struggle to strike a ball.
Try and march them 18 miles.
Do you ever watch? Do you ever watch Barber?
Yeah, when I was a kid. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Barber. This is.
Didn't he have a crown? He had a crown.
Yeah, the crown. He was king, I think. With Barber though, this is typical. This is what you probably would expect a little Jimmy Allcott to be like. I was like, their control would not be that good. They wouldn't be able to loft the ball like that. They wouldn't be able to chip it with their little hoof feet.
What was their football element?
They're really into football. Yeah, they'd often play football. And this was a cartoon basically in the 90s. And they would play football a lot. And they'd kick the ball or control the ball. And I was always like, you haven't got the dexterity in your feet. Anyway. Football podcast. I mean, kind of football. Right. Jad Hadir. Hi guys, just checking in. Since you like my last 2 facts, here are another 2. People don't actually fall over. This is dark. People don't actually fall over when they're shot. The impact of the bullet isn't enough to make you fall. How do you know that? However, in one movie, someone getting shot fell over, which led to the belief that you would fall over by a gunshot. Why is that your go-to fact, Jad? Frightening.
Yeah, why do you know this, Jad? This is weird, mate.
Second one.
Is that it?
No, he's got another one. Humans learned about bird migration because a stork once was found in Germany with an African spear still stuck to it. That's mad, isn't it? No?
Sounds like bollocks.
All right. Prove it. Prove it, Jed. We finish off with BDA and a bit of an update on Sonny. There seemed like there was a strong feeling that the situation he was in was not a positive one. He said that someone that he fancied last year in halls, a new girl this is, there was a picture of him on her public Snapchat story with the caption, "Wish I was spending Valentine's Day with my husband instead of alone. Is he in the friend zone, or is there something that he could do with this one because he does fancy her?" Pricklefinger said, "Sonny's life is like an episode of How I Met Your Mother." It is. And we are living through it. Long may it continue. James Eads, "Sonny, that's a massive friend zone in my eyes. Why refer to him as husband? Odd. Unless it's one of those weird things when both are long-term mates, so she's too cautious to make a move." And Maxwell Alan, the Hall's friend, "She is 100% using this to make someone else jealous. Always probe if you're interested, but by trying to flirt, I'd expect this isn't a come on, mate. But put it out of your mind by talking to her." So I asked Sonny if there was an update, and he did reply. He's a patron. I don't know if he's with us now. Is he with us now? So he has said this. He has said, "Sonny, recorded pod today. Any update on your lady friend? Got one hell of an update. It's just been hectic at uni. I'll drop it in the comments, ready for next week's pod."
Yes.
Yes, we will milk it for another week. We've got ourselves a cliffhanger, ladies and gents. We've got
Come on.
ourselves a cliffhanger.
Keep clapping. Jim,
Get
keep
it.
clapping. How long can we do this for? This is YouTube content. How long? Enough or not?
Up to you, mate. I'm going.
Keep going. Jim, can I? This is the end of the podcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Can I just stop clapping? You keep clapping.
Yep.
You keep clapping.
Go on.
Right. I'm gonna sing something to you, and you've got to carry it on
Okay.
if you can.
Roxanne
Ready?
says, "Watch time 101."
Ready?
Do I have to keep clapping?
No, stop clapping.
Thank you.
Baked potato changed my life. Baked potato showed me the way.
Am I supposed to keep going?
If you know the next bit.
Something about wrong.
If you want to know what is wrong from right, you must listen to what baked potatoes say. Don't be good. Do be good. Do be good. Don't be bad.
Thank you,
baked potato. Do be happy. Don't be sad.
Thank you, baked potato.
potato.
And if you want to have a better day,
you better listen to what the baked potatoes say.
You're right, Flav. You okay?
Yep, I'm off to watch Spurs play against a team, honestly, that I didn't know existed before we drew them in the Europa League.
Okay.
I love you, Jim.
Love you, mate. Right, guys, hope you've enjoyed it. All the new moisties, thank you very much for getting involved. Like we said, 132 spaces on the half-price Patreon tier. So if you want to support the lads, please do get involved. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, sluggies.